Hey, this is Don from Padlock Technologies again with another video. This time I got a question on checkpoints and HA. And we're going to talk about clusterxl in this one. But if you don't know anything about checkpoints, I did a overview video of it. I'll put it up here somewhere. Watch that video first, then come back to this so it makes more sense because you'll have at least an overview of the checkpoint firewall system. But I'm going to whiteboard it because I talk about concept before configuration. So I can show you what it is on whiteboard, and then we'll go into the lab and I'll actually show you what it looks like. So clusterxl, the infamous clusterxl. Now I will tell you for a fact that this was the most confusing HA configuration that I've ever done or learned on firewalls, right? Because if you're coming from an ASA, if you're coming from Palo, Fortinet, FTDs, they're pretty simple to set up HA. But clusterxl does have its little quirks in it, but once you get used to how you set it up, it's somewhat easy. Still confusing for the first time learner. So I would say go learn HA on a Fortinet or an ASA, and then come back to this so you have some concept of what HA is supposed to look like, right? Now, not saying that clusterxl doesn't have great HA, it's just configuring it can get a little confusing. So clusterxl will have two checkpoints, all right? Two checkpoints, and you're basically going to synchronize them to two. Now they have active standby and they have load sharing. Sounds familiar, right? On Palo, same thing, active standby and load sharing. Like I said before, Checkpoint was the OG or the granddaddy of next generation firewalls. Like everybody took from Checkpoint, and then all these other vendors came out. But before Palo, before FTDs, before Fortinet, it was Checkpoint, especially in the enterprise environment. So what this is going to look like is these will be in NHA. Now, here's where the confusion part comes in. In checkpoints, they use VIPs all over the place. So you'll have a VIP for the inside. So you have a VIP here, and you have a VIP here. So if you know anything about VRRP or HSRP, stuff like that, kind of works with the similar concept. And they even have a VIP for management. So the management interfaces will have VIPs, right? So you're going to have a switch obviously on each side. And when inside traffic needs to go to one of the firewalls, it goes to the VIP address, and then the primary will own that address until it goes down, and then it'll move over to the secondary. Same thing on the outside address. Now, what makes this so confusing is checkpoints used to not have a concept of management traffic separation, like on every other firewall. FTDs has a separate management interface. Palo has a separate management interface. Fortinet, it has a management interface, so I'll put that in there. ASA's separate management interface. And what that does is that helps you from a routing standpoint get to the firewall from a different subnet. Checkpoints did not have that at first. Now they have something called MDPS, which is management data plane separation. They have that now. So in the lab, what I'm going to show you is clusterxl with MDPS. So I'll show you, hey, I can switch between the management plane and the data plane, and that helps me get to the checkpoints without having to go and have some weird intricate routing on the same subnet. Because without MDPS, when you create a default route, that's the default route for everything, management and data plane. So let's say, hey, my default route goes out to the internet. Well, if I'm on a subnet and I try to get to the management interface and I have to get back to where I'm coming from the checkpoint using the default route, well, now you can see where the problem is because my default route is going out to the internet. So what I actually end up having to do is put my management server on the same subnet as the management interface on the checkpoint, and then the management server can talk to it. But with MDPS, I can have separate routing tables. So you'll see, I'll show you two separate routing tables, and I can configure default routes and all that good stuff from there. But that is clusterxl in a nutshell from a whiteboard perspective. The same HA, we're going to do active standby, but we're going to use VIPs instead of one single, like on the FTD, you create one interface and pretty much the primary owns that interface until it moves over to the secondary. Like if the primary goes down, this one, they're sharing a VIP, like VRRP or HSRP, and when the primary goes down, that VIP just gets answered by the secondary. So that's really it. So if you think about it in routing terms, kind of works similar to the way you would do first hop redundancy protocols on a router or on a switch. And that's clusterxl. So let's go in the lab and I'll show you what it looks like. So this is clusterxl, and this is what it looks like here. So little backstory, we'll have our two checkpoints. I have two management servers. Now, if you notice, this is HA on the management side. Again, Checkpoint's the granddaddy of this, so they had this first before anybody else. And then, as you can see, I have my VIP on the inside, VIP on the outside, and I have a VIP for HSRP going to the internet. So I'm going to go ahead and log into one of my servers here, and then I'll pull it up. I'm going to edit the connection so I believe this is 48. I'll just do it from here, forget it. So we'll just open it up here. So this is technically what it looks like from a management server standpoint. I was going to use RDP to get into that box, but I just didn't feel like doing it. So as you can see, we have our cluster here. We have our two firewalls here, and then we have our management primary and secondary. Now, if I get 100 likes on this video, I will do this from scratch. So you'll get to see all the mistakes, if I make any, of building this up from scratch. So if I get 100 likes, I'll do that just to show you how to do it on a checkpoint from like point A to point Z, right? But this is just an overview of clusterxl. Now, I'm going to show you when we go and edit the cluster, right? When we go edit the cluster, I will show you the network management where you can see the VIPs. So if we go to network management, you're going to see here's the virtual addresses for each interface. So checkpoint one is physical interface is 200.110.1/24. The other one is .2, and the virtual address that's shared between the two is .3. And then on the inside interface, now there is no zones and checkpoints by default. So that's another thing that's a little weird. You'll see it in the overview video. If you're coming from other firewalls, you have .1, .2 on the inside, respective firewalls, and then the VIP between them. So my static route is actually going to .253, all right? And then on the management side, and this is where I said there's even VIPs on management, we got 4 and 5 are 10, 172, 1.4 is for the primary, 1.5 is for the secondary, but they share the VIP 100. So when I want to actually manage the device, I go to 10, 172, 1.100, and the primary will answer. If the primary went down, the secondary would answer, right? So it kind of, you don't have to worry about from the management headache. Now, there is one thing you need to worry about here. Checkpoint by default on its interfaces enables anti-spoofing, and that can cause a lot of problems. So you got to turn that off, and you can do that just by going into the interface. And then down here at the bottom, you see this anti-spoofing. You disable that because what ends up happening is when you try to send traffic, it blocks it because of anti-spoofing for some odd reason. So I just turn that off all the time. You see my cluster members here, and this will show me the two gateways, right? With your cluster members, again, 100 likes. I'll do this from scratch so you can see it from scratch. And then once you got the cluster, you're pretty much good to go, right? It'll show up and look like this. Now, from a management perspective, you can do HA as well. So you see the two crowns here versus one. The two crowns just says, hey, this is the secondary. So this will share the database between the two. And then we have our policies, which is simple policy stuff. So we have a management rule that's only going to be allowing this box that I'm on now, the Windows server, the management servers, the two management servers can talk to the clusters and the individual checkpoints. And then we have a stealth rule. If you are taking an interview and they have checkpoints, they will ask you about what is the stealth rule. So basically the stealth rule is I'm going to block management traffic for everybody else going to the cluster. And it has to be underneath your management rule because you don't want somebody randomly coming in and being able to get to the checkpoint GUI or spin up their own little software and then our management software and get to the box. So that's the stealth rule. And then you have the internet rule, which is basically going out to the internet, right? And then we have our NAT rules as well. Now these are auto nets from the Cisco world. If you know anything about auto nets, you know those are, section 2 nets. Um, we have our auto nets here. That's basically allowing us to go out to the internet. And that's really it, right? From a structure standpoint on checkpoint. Now I'm going to pull up the primary here and then extend it here. Let's just log into this. Now, as you can see on here, it says M plane. So right now, because I'm doing MDPS, which is management data plane separation, I'm in the management plane or the management VRF, if you want to call it that and make it simpler. I'm in the management plane. So if I go show route, all I have is a default route going back down to the core, and I have my interfaces here. This is the sync as well, because this is the sync interface, which is ETH3, and that's how I do the sync between the two. Think about it as the like failover and stateful link on a ASA or firewall, or the HA links on a Palo, or the HA links on a FortiGate. So you don't see anything going out to the outside world because I'm in the management plane. If I wanted to go into the data plane, I do a set MDPS, which is management data plane separation, environment, D plane. So now I'm going to data plane. So now you see it just changed to D plane. So now if I do show route, you see a whole bunch of other routes now, right? 2 different routing tables. So you see the routes going back down to the core, and you see routes going to the internet, which is my default route. And that's why you separate the two. Because if I didn't separate the data plane and management plane, my default route would be going to 200, 100, 10.225 for everything. And thus you would run into a problem getting to the management interface because of this. So that's it. Now to verify clusterxl, what you want to do is you want to go to, I'm going to go back to the management plane because it's really not in the data plane. I'm gonna go back to the management plane. So now you see it went back to M plane. And usually I'll just do show cluster state. And this is the clusterxl information. So as you can see, the box that I'm on, you see the 2 boxes. The box that I'm on is the primary because you see it say active and I'm local. And then you see member, all my member information. That's really all you need to do is to verify that HA is up. On a FTD or an ASA, that would be show failover state. So you can see that information, and that's what you would get there. Now there is a show cluster statistics as well. To the tab. Do I want to look at? I'll do transport. I don't want to do. I'll do sync. I don't want to. I don't want to do reset. Yeah, so this gives you more information like sync information and stuff like that. And then if I do transport, this gives me a lot more information about like stuff that's going through the clusterxl. So now that that's there and you got a little brief taste of clusterxl, we can exit out of this. You saw the management data plane separation. And then I'm going to pull this server back up. And then I'm going to do a simple ping just to validate that I can get out to the internet. So I'm not showing you an example that doesn't work. That I see on most videos. So as you can see, I can get out to the internet perfectly fine. And then if we go to logs, and I'm going to source this from source 10.1.1. And there we go. So here's my ping that just happened. So let's open this up. So as you can see, it's telling you, hey, I went to firewall 1 because that's where the origin came from. It's a firewall rule. I'm permitted access. The source of the traffic is coming from my management server. The service is echo request going out of ETH1, going to this destination here, which is 1.1.1.1. See the policy, it got accepted. This is the policy managed server. You see the internet rule, the number of hit counts. You see the natting here. So it did get natted to, it got natted to the VIP, which is 200.110.3. And then obviously this gives you a little bit more information about what it is, echo request type 80. So that gives you that information. So that is clusterxl in a nutshell. It's basically HA on a checkpoint firewall. What you saw in this example was a simple example with the management and data plane separation. Now, most of the times you'll see an example that doesn't have NDPS. They're just doing it everything in the same, routing table, no separation. That is a little bit of an advanced technique which you're going to use MDPS to separate the management and data plane, and then you're going to do clusterxl. Hope you enjoyed this video. Again, if you want to see this done from scratch, 100 comments and I'll do it, right? Or 100 likes and I'll do it. If you like to see cool stuff like this, and this is another thing you need to learn. Again, as a network engineer, you can't be just stuck in one ecosystem, because what you know today, you go somewhere else and it's completely irrelevant in another environment. So always keep learning. Don't forget to share, comment, like, and subscribe to the channel. Put this on your socials. Somebody's probably going to laugh like, hey, man, this dude is working on a checkpoint. I haven't seen those in a while in so long. But again, hope you like this video. Thank you, and have a nice day.